This is how we do it.
This is how we do it.
Sha-la-la-la-la-la. Sha-la-la-la-la-la.
This is how we do it.
This is how we do it. It's Friday night and I feel alright. The party's here on the west side, so I reach for my 40 and I turn it up. Designated driver, take the keys to my truck. Hit the shop cause I'm faded. Honey's in the streets, say money, yo, we made it. It feels so good in my hood tonight. The summertime skirts and the guys ain't canine. All the gangbangers forgot about the drive-by. You gotta get your groove on before you go get paid. So tip up your cup and throw your hands up and let me hear the party say, I'm kinda buzzed and it's all because
This is how we do it.
South Central does it like nobody does.
This is how we do it.
To all my neighbors, you got much flavor.
This is how we do it.
Let's flip the track, bring the old school back.
This is how we do it.
This is how we do it. All hands are in the air and wave from here to there. If you're an OG Mac or a wannabe player, you see the hood's been good to me ever since I was a lowercase G. But now I'm a big G. The girls see I got the money, $100 bills, y'all. If you were from where I'm from, then you would know that I gotta get mine in a big black truck. You can get yours in a 6-4. Whatever it is, the party's underway. So tip up your cup and throw your hands up and let me hear the party say, I'm kinda buzzed, it's all because
This is how we do it.
South Central does it like nobody does.
This is how we do it.
To all my neighbors, you got much flavor.
This is how we do it.
Let's flip the track, bring the old school back.
This is how we do it.
I'm kinda buzzed, it's all because
This is how we do it.
South Central does it like nobody does. Nobody does. YNB, SCC.
This is how
My
we do it.
homies, I'll never come back on an old school track.
This is how we do it.
On a long and lonesome highway east of Omaha, you can listen to the engine moaning out his one-note song. You can think about the woman or the girl you knew the night before. But your thoughts will soon be wandering the way they always do when you're riding 16 hours and there's nothing much to do. And you don't feel much like riding, you just wish the trip was through. See, here I am on the road again. There I am up on the stage. Here I go playing the star again. There I go, turn the page. Well, you walk into a restaurant, strung out from the road, and you feel the eyes upon you as you're shaking off the cold. You pretend it doesn't bother you, but you just want to explode. Most times you can't hear them talk, other times you can. All the same old cliches. Is that a woman or a man? And you always seem outnumbered. You don't dare make a stand. Here I am on the road again. There I am up on the stage. Here I go, playing the star again. There I go, turn the page. Out there in the spotlight, you're a million miles away. Every ounce of energy you try to give away as the sweat pours out your body like the music that you play. Later in the evening as you lie awake in bed with the echoes from the amplifiers ringing in your head, you smoke the day's last cigarette, remembering what she said. Here I am on the road again. There I am up on the stage. Here I go, playing the star again. There I go, turn the page. Here I am on the road again. There I am up on the stage. Here I go, playing star again. There I go, there I go.
Someone told me long ago there's a calm before the storm. I know it's been coming for some time. When it's over, so they say, it'll rain a sunny day. I know, shining down like water. I wanna know, have you ever seen the rain? I wanna know, have you ever seen the rain? Coming down sunny day. Yesterday and days before, sun is cold and rain is hot. I know, been that way for all my time. Till forever on it goes, through the circle fast and slow. I know, it can't stop. I wonder, I wanna know, have you ever seen the rain? I wanna know, have you ever seen the rain? Coming down sunny day. Yeah, I wanna know, have you ever seen the rain? I wanna know, have you ever seen the rain? Coming down sunny day.
How do I we say goodbye to what we had. The good time that made us laugh outweigh them bad. I thought we'd get to see forever, but forever's gone away. It's so hard to say goodbye to yesterday. I don't know where this road is going to lead. All I know is where we've been and what we've been through. If we get to see tomorrow, I hope it's worth all the pain. It's so hard to say goodbye to yesterday. And I'll take with me the memories to be my sunshine after the rain. It's so hard to say goodbye to yesterday.
Okay. So I think of humor, fun, laughter, witty. My dad was the epitome of a jokester. He never missed an opportunity to make someone laugh. That's where he found his joy. My dad was happiest when he was surrounded by his loved ones, telling jokes and making others happy. With that in mind, let's remember that Frank wouldn't want us mourning his loss. He would want his memory kept alive, not with tears of sadness, but with smiles on our faces. However, sometimes the desire to bring humor to a situation was not always welcomed. This was particularly the case around the topic of death and what would happen when that time came for our dad. There was a moment when someone close to us had passed, and I think my dad found it necessary to finally talk with us about his wishes. So he sat us down and in all seriousness said, "You guys have to promise me something." We responded, "Of course, Dad, whatever you want." When I'm on my deathbed, I'll get it, don't worry. When I'm on my deathbed, I have one request. Austin, Danny, and I were over here thinking, he's going to say something like, "Make sure I don't suffer. Have me surrounded by my loved ones. Fight to keep me alive." He looks at each one of us right in the eyes and says, "Put me in an Evel Knievel outfit, strap me to a motorcycle, tape the throttle down, and launch me off a pier into the ocean. Oh, and I want fireworks attached to the bike." We just shook our heads as our dad imitated doing a throttle and jumping off a ramp. So imagine our surprise when we were given our dad's healthcare directive, and the only thing he listed was cremation. We had to return the Evel Knievel outfit and stop the construction of the ramp. But that's who my dad was. Humor first, serious conversations later. So when the unthinkable became a reality, we thought it'd be nice to celebrate his life here at the Odyssey, one of his favorite places. We've had so many great memories with our dad here, and I know he would appreciate this. Like my dad, I've always led with humor. It's one of the best traits he passed down to me. Sure, he also blessed me with the thick Hungarian eyebrows that need to be plucked constantly or else they'll join as one. Yeah, I inherited the lower back of a 90-year-old man. also the inability to grow a full beard. But better than all those is the sense of humor my dad gave me, and for that I truly am thankful. We love Frank because he made us laugh, he made us smile, and he taught us not to take life too seriously. And this is the lesson that I think we should all take away from my dad. Defer to humor. Make the joke. Find happiness in making others happy. The famous actor Charlie Chaplin once said, "A day without laughter is a day wasted." Let's not waste today. Let's not waste tomorrow. Laugh about your memories with Frank, because nothing would have made him happier. Thank you.
I sat down with that paper and that pen, and there was too much. There was too much good. There was a lot of emotion that came out of what I wanted to write down. I think Corey put it perfectly. Corey put it beautifully. My dad was all about having a good time. He was all about everyone around him having a good time. The word that comes to my mind when I thought about my dad was generosity. No matter if the group was two, you and him, or whether it was all of us, he would have been here right now, buying every one of you around and making sure all of us had a very, very good time. And that was the best thing I can take away from my dad, is being generous every day. Give a little bit. Make sure you make that call. Mom, I love you. Make that call to you more often. And just make sure, I'm just going free right now. I wrote nothing down, but just make sure you hug that loved one every night. You tell them you love them. And Adriana, thank you for taking care of him for so many years. I appreciate it. Austin.
Hi. I'm Austin. I'm Frank's youngest son. It's been said before, and it should be said again to all of you. Thank you from the bottom of all of our hearts for being here, for helping remind us how loved our dad was. And sorry, I had something prepared too, but like Danny said, as soon as you walk through that door, it just slips through your mind. There's bigger things here. To have you all here helps. It's an honor to have you guys here, not just to help me remember our dad and to honor him, but for those of us left behind dealing with some of the toughest times of our life, you're helping us get through this. We've heard some incredible stories lately of jokes our dads told and funny times or anecdotes, and it helps us to remember who he was. And I thought when I wanted to come up here and say something to you guys, it was going to be that I would come up here and tell you who my dad was. But looking around, I know my dad was something different to everybody in here, and something unique. And the more and more I thought about that, the more I really loved that idea. I loved the idea that we all have our own version of Frank, and that he's going to live on through all of us. He's going to live on through Robert and his ideas of my dad, and as a grandpa to Robbie, and as a dad, as a boyfriend. And I think there's a lot that my dad can teach us that is worth living on, and is worth all of us bringing with us in every day. And Corey's stole my speech, but it's the humor that my dad really passed on. I think, well, first I want to tell you guys a story of something my dad said to me one time. And let me start with some context so you don't think this is out of line. My dad loved my grandpa. He had the utmost respect for him. He adored his humor and his bravery, and he wanted to be like him. So there was this one time when my dad and I were sitting at the bar together, believe it or not, having a drink, and he was telling me about the time he went to pick up his father's ashes and how he was bringing them home. It's a little dark, we'll get there. He was bringing them home to my uncle and my grandma, and my dad, being the brilliant man he is, never missed an opportunity for a prank or a joke or to make someone laugh. And so when he got home, he put the ashes in the next room, and then he goes and gets an old shoebox and some kitty litter and fills that shoebox with kitty litter and pokes a hole in the bottom of it so that grandpa gently streams out. And when my uncle and my grandma get there, he comes running out, carrying the shoebox, streaming out kitty litter, going, "Guys, I got dad. And he's telling me this story, and he's cracking up. And it took me a while to realize what he was doing in that moment. He was taking something that was one of the hardest times in his life and making it lighter and making it digestible and making it so that we can all understand it. And I kind of still have, I'm gonna just skip around. I kind of still have these, like childlike, naive thoughts about my dad. I still picture him as a superhero in many ways, and one of his superpowers was being able to take a hard time and make it easier. You know, he can make anybody laugh at any time. He can make a joke during a time that would normally crush another man's spirit. And I think that's one of the lessons in life that we can probably take from Frankie and carry on with us, and we should. We can all learn to take ourselves a little less seriously. We can all learn that it's okay to be the least formally dressed person in the room, and that you can totally wear cargo shorts to Ruth Chris. You can get away with that. I'm doing the exact opposite of what he wanted, because as he was telling me that story, I looked over to him and I said, Dad, Pops, when you go, that's how you would want us to be, right? That's how you would want us to act. You wouldn't want us to be sad. You wouldn't want us to cry. You wouldn't want us to fall into a dark place. You would want us to make jokes. You would want us to have fun. And you would want us to laugh. And he looked at me and said, Austin, I wouldn't have it any other way. And I think I encourage you all, for when you remember my dad, to remember him in those lights, to think about him like that, to remember him with a smile and a joke. I really don't know if I should tell this last story, but I'm going to go for it. Yeah, go for it.
Your dad would.
Yeah, he would.
Yeah.
He would. That's how I knew if it would be okay if I told these stories. I pictured myself sitting there with him, telling him, and he was doing a little thing where he'd lean over and touch me, and go, no, tell him even more. Tell him about this. But yeah, those are little Frankieisms that I think we can carry with us to help us get through this time and to get through everything. Is to not take ourselves so seriously. Excuse me. All right, so I know, my dad would like to say goodbye too, because he told us how he would like us to remember him. Not in sadness or in somberness or in grief, but through humor. And how he would like us to remember him. Yeah, so there's another sitting at the bar with my dad story, believe it or not. What? We're of Hungarian ancestry, right? And we've always been curious about that, as what's our culture like in that sense. And so we've always asked our dad, what do the Hungarians do in this situation or whatever? And so we're sitting at the bar, we just get our drinks, we get our fresh round in. Please, if you have a drink at hand, I'd like you to, doesn't have to be an alcoholic beverage or anything. So I asked my dad, because we get our drinks, we cheers, and we take a sip, and I turned to him and I said, Dad, I know us English speakers, we say cheers, and I know Ostrovia and salute in school, but what do the Hungarians say? And without missing a beat, because this is my dad's sense of humor, he looks me right in the eyes and goes, Austin, shut the F up and drink. So, from my dad through me to all of you guys, I'd like to just tell you, shut the F up and drink. Thank you.
Good job, dude.
Good afternoon, everybody. For those who weren't listening to Corey, I'm Frank's brother. I'm Stephen. So I did prepare something, but after following these boys, it's kind of hard to do a follow-up, but I'm going to do my best. Frankie was my brother for 60 years, and two people can go through life within 60 years and not rub off on each other. And God knows Frankie's rubbed off on me. The humor and the fun that we shared together will never be matched. I lost my sidekick. Nothing in life can prepare us for the death of a loved one, whether death results from a sudden accident or a sudden illness. It always catches us off guard. Death is so deeply personal and stunningly final. Nothing can emotionally prepare us for its arrival. With every death, there is a loss, and with every loss, there will be grief. Grief doesn't come and go in an orderly, confined time frame. Just when you think the pangs of anguish have stolen its last breath, another wave sweeps in, and we are forced to revisit the memories of pain and fear. Sometimes we try to resist the demands of grief. We long to avoid this fierce yet holy pilgrimage. We fight against the demands of the grieving. We long to avoid the fierce yet holy pilgrimage we all must take. We fight against the currents, terrified by the willingness to be overwhelmed and being discovered of becoming lost in our own brokenness. Culture tells us to move past this progressive quickly. Take a few days, take weeks, perhaps to grieve, but don't stay there too long. Grieving can only make those around us uncomfortable. Friends sometimes don't know what to do or what to say in our pain. Loved ones struggle to find adequate words to comfort our aching wounds. Yet grief, as painful a season as it is a necessary part of our lives. It's a part of healing. To run from it, to run from this grief, is to run from the very thing that can quell the pain in our loss. If we come to God and use the Bible verses and pray for healing, our grief has purpose. Grieving is the process of God to bring us to the place of holiness. Grieving can make the most difficult time for people try to balance the feelings of pain and loss while going through with our everyday lives. Give yourself the space. Give yourself the time to be honest with your emotions. Don't grieve alone, and don't lose hope. This poem I have for you can shed tears as he is gone, or you can smile because he has lived. You can close your eyes and pray that he will come back, or you can open your eyes and see that he has left. Your heart can be empty because you can't see him, or you can be full of love that you have shared him. You can turn your back on tomorrow and live for yesterday, or you can be happy for tomorrow because of yesterday. You can remember him only that he is gone, or you can cherish his memory and let it live on. You can cry and close your mind and be empty and turn your back, or you can do what I want, would be to smile, open my eyes, and go on and live in love. Thank you.
I'm Tony. I'm Frank's brother-in-law and probably one of his best friends. I want to say thank you to everybody for showing up today and showing your appreciation of Frank. I know that if you're here, he was a friend to you guys, that's for sure. Today we're remembering a great friend to everyone and a best friend to myself. I probably spent more time with Frank than anyone besides my sister. We're always together. The past 15 years have been the best a friend could ever ask for. We talked about everything together, we grew up together, and we're still a little bit immature. Your happy, easygoing attitude towards life was contagious. Everyone around you couldn't help but enjoy your company. You're a big kid with an even bigger heart. You truly knew how to live life to the fullest. We're not ready to say goodbye to you yet, bro. None of us were here. I didn't just lose my boss that day. I lost my mentor, my best friend, and my brother. Losing you is twice as hard for me, and not a day goes by that I don't think of you. But the loss felt by the love of your sister, my sister, truly trumps anything I could ever feel. Never have I seen a couple ever meant for each other so much like you two. You enjoy each other's company and always had a good time. Even if she got on your nerves by lunchtime, by dinner time we were back at it and having a good time. To be honest, I think she was just jealous. There's no doubt in my heart that you made it up to the big bar in the sky, finally sitting with your pops, having that cold drink. Just save me that seat to your left, and I'll get there when I get there. And we'll have that one more drink like we always said. Uno más, Dewey. I'll see you soon.
I'm reading something on behalf of my mom. She's too chicken to come up here, so I have to do it for her. Hi everyone. I want to thank you all for attending Frank's celebration of life today. We all lost an amazing, loving, and hilarious person in our lives. He was not only a son, a father, a brother, a boss, a friend, and a papa, but my partner in life and my best friend. He has left so many great memories with everyone here and has managed to impact our lives in such a great way. Not one person I have spoken to or received a message from has had anything bad to say about him. They'll all say that they have all had managed to say the same thing. He was a giving person who always lived life in a positive way. The moment that Frank entered my life, he made me the happiest person I could be. No matter how angry he could make me, he would still manage to make me smile. There's a small story I'd like to share with you guys about a funny time we had at Vallarta. When I was standing at the meat counter waiting for my order, the clerk in the restaurant next to me yelled out, "Torta lista." If you guys don't know, it means torta ready. I turned out thinking it was Frank calling me and immediately said, "Yeah, babe." Right after Frank said, "I didn't call you," I was so embarrassed while everyone else started. While everyone else stared at us, but it is still one of the many great moments I got to share with them. I'll wrap this up by saying thank you all again, and to my best friend, looking down on me. I'll always love and miss you. Till we meet again, babe.
Hey, my name is Robert Cardenas. I'm here with my lovely wife, Diana. And I first met Frank in the early 80s because of my wife, and Tina. And for that decade, we were pretty much inseparable as couples. We did a lot of things together. Our first Renaissance Festival, going to the beach house in Ventura, going to concerts, especially the one in Ventura, Journey and Billy Squire. I got in my first motorcycle accident with Frank. He was on his Cowie, I was on my Honda CB 400. Then I got a new bike, and then we rode, and I never got another accident after that. But we did a couple of, so that was one of the first things I did, and it was with Frank. Another one was when we went to Cancun in 1984. My wife and I had been there for our honeymoon in 83, and then we all went together in 84, and it was during the 4th of July weekend. Okay, so what they like to do in Mexico for the Americanos is treat them to a lot of free tequila. There was a luncheon with a lot of pork and chicken, and for the first hour there was an open bar, and Frank and I were drinking water goblets, these glasses of tequila. Okay? Needless to say, we were wiped out for the next couple of days. I went to my hotel room that night and redecorated it in not a fashion that you want. And it was because of Frank, because he kept telling me, take another one, take another one. So that was another first we did. Then we started having kids, started having children, but there was just so much we did together. And we had a little code word. I don't even know if my wife or Tina know about this, but he came up with something, and I don't know why he did this or what made him think of this, but the word shoes. And it had nothing to do with footwear. If we happened to see a lovely lady that was well endowed, we'd point it out. She's got nice shoes. We knew, and then we looked, so we knew. We'd see her. Shoes. Who comes up with that? No idea. Unfortunately, I didn't see Frank as much the last 20 years or so. Right? I'll always treasure the memories. That's something that will never go away. Godspeed, my friend.
Tina's cousin, and I've known Frank since I was 8. When Tina and him started to date, he was the guy with the green machine. He had this car that barely moved, but he got it to move, and he would work on that green machine, and he poured his heart and soul into loving Tina and the boys. And when they were first born, when Danny was first born, living right here at the Odyssey in this condo, I remember going into Danny's nursery, and Tina was decorating it, and Frank would hold something up and go, "What is this?" And we'd say, "Oh, that's a diaper stacker." And he'd be like, "You have to stack the diapers?" But the thing that really, blew him away and was over the top was the wipe warmer. So that when the diapers were being changed, those wipes were warm for their bottoms. And
Thanks, Dad.
yes, thanks, Dad. And thanks, Mom, for that. Because those are the years that Frankie, to me, was always Frankie. He was always this funny guy who really loved his boys. And in the last 20 years, I did not know him like you guys did. You guys saw a different side of him. I think hopefully more mature, but it doesn't sound like that. It doesn't change much, but his love and his passion for his mom and his brother surpasses anything. His deep desire to make sure that his boys, had what they needed, and I just don't want you boys to forget that, how much he might not have shown his love for you, but that he deeply wanted kids and wanted you guys and loved you immensely. Your mom shows it in a very different way. Your mom shows it, and just like girls do, we're so open, and sometimes it was just that high five from Dad or that phone call, and things don't always end perfect. They don't always, but just know that there is a tomorrow. You will see him someday. And I don't know where Frank was at, if he knew Jesus or where his heart was. I pray he did. I prayed for him often throughout the years. I prayed for you boys to know this God that loves you so deeply and wants to spend eternity with you. And so I pray that today. I pray that whatever Frank felt before he died, he had a deep love for you and for your family, and just really, I want to show that he did have that heart deep down inside of all his jokes, and inside of all those funny moments that he had and he possessed. Deep down, he was really caring and really loving, but the last few years, I think, got the best of him. And I just want you boys to know, and Adriana, that that love, it will be in your heart forever. So don't forget that. Don't forget those good times, and those bad times, just wipe them away. Just wipe them away. But I do pray that he's in peace, and he is out of pain. And I think that is such a blessing. So, you're welcome. Love you, boys.
Frank's Corner at Casa de Carlos. While playing lotto and enjoying our favorite beverages, Crown Royal for him and margaritas for us. Well, he may seem rough and tough upon first impression. He was very kind, loving, generous, as others have said, and and sometimes humorous soul. In addition, he was a very astute businessman, so we had many discussions around finances and insurance. Some of my best memories include, of course, meeting Adriana, who kept Frank sensible and sane, and playing pool at Casa de Carlos several times with cues that were crooked, while Frank played with his professional cue. After complaining numerous times of the unfair advantage he had, one time he showed up with a box that he gave me with my own cue, and I whipped his ass. That'll teach him. Another time at Casa, we obviously spent a lot of time at Casa de Carlos. Probably shut him down, but after many discussions on guns and rifles, it was near closing time, and Frank went to his car. It was another box, but longer this time. and he made me open it right away. To my shock and surprise, there was a high-power air rifle with a custom scope that he had added. Thank goodness we knew the owners of Casa, or they would have called the police. Lastly, one that Frank and I swore never to tell, but Tony might enjoy this. One afternoon, when we were in his basement at the shooting range trying to adjust the sight on my new air rifle, and we were also trying different pellets, including a plastic high velocity one. And Frank said to try one of the metal targets that was kind of right in front of us. I got a bullseye, but to our shock, we felt something sail just above our heads. It was the plastic pellet that did not crush upon hitting the target and nearly pierced our scalps. We definitely dodged that bullet. Due to the COVID, we hadn't seen Frank and Adriana in a long time, so we finally got together several months ago to catch up. Since I retired in November last year, I told Frank he needed to get out of the office and I wanted to be a social director and plan that deep sea fishing trip because he always talked about it and wanted to do it again. Unfortunately, we didn't get this finalized, but I know Frank is bagging his limits up there and we'll definitely plan that trip when we're all together again. We love and miss you.
Laura. We are actually bartenders. Believe it or not. At Wood Ranch Northridge. Whole back table back there. And on that side as well. But we came here today just because Frank has greatly impacted our lives. We love seeing him come in 2 to 3 times a day. No, but every time we saw him, just a great smile on his face. Love seeing Adriana too, and Tony and Bethel and the whole family. We just loved having him there, and his presence, he greatly impacted our lives. And I just wanted to say, thank you for impacting our lives and becoming family to us. He was an awesome person, so generous, so loving, so sweet, and very funny. But yeah, just on Wood Ranch and all of the bartenders he's come across, we just wanted to say thank you.
Thank you. Ex-wife, I'm the boy's mom, and this is Robbie, his granddaughter, and she wanted to say something.
You got it, Mama. It's okay, got it.
I don't know Frank as you guys do. I know him as a grandpa, and I don't know him as you guys know him as his crazy side. But I just really wish I could hug him one more time. And this was really unexpected, and I do not know what to say. I'm scared, and I know we all are. And I want to hug him one more time.
Thank you, Robbie.
Okay.
He loves you.
I know.
I'm not crazy, Papa, let you jump on our bed all the time, mess up my sofa. Remember those days?
Yeah.
You can still have those days with me anytime you want. Okay? He loves you.
This is a nice thing here, isn't it?
You can cry all you want. They can hear you.
Okay, well, Robbie asked me to say a story, and I wasn't going to
Got
say
it,
it.
Mom.
You want me to say it?
Yeah, Mom.
Okay, to bring some fun here? Yeah. Okay, so back in the day, Frank and I dated for Mike Lane, 8 years, 9 years. All of our high school friends are here, which is so nice. But my mom had given us diamonds to make my engagement ring. And we were gonna have a big, huge engagement party where he was going to propose and give me the ring. And I, of course, called to make sure to be ready, make sure that everything was perfect, because that's what us girls do. We gotta make sure You know, yeah. But so he called all of us outside, and I thought, this is the moment I'm gonna get proposed to. This is it. And I, get the cameras ready, come on, everybody. We go out there, and he opens up the box with the ring in it, and I'm thinking, oh, this is it. And he goes to hand it to me, and it's hooked onto a balloon. And it goes up into the air. And I am like freaking out, because we talked a lot about guns. Frank gave me a BB gun in case I ever needed it, and this seemed like the perfect time. So I ran upstairs and got the BB gun, and I came running back down with it, determined to shoot that balloon down, and he got down on his hands and on his knee, and he said, well, if that one won't do, how about this one? And the whole room went, oh. So that's his sense of humor we were talking about. And anything he did, he had a sense of humor. So quite a man, but I'm so proud of you, and thank you for coming up and giving her some love. Thank you. Okay.
Ready? Twin brother of Frankie.
I'm Wesley Dixon, Frank's twin brother. So I'm here representing the basketball crew. To start off with, that's how I met Frank. I heard about this great basketball game sponsored by this guy who got his own company. And you got to come down. And one of my rugby friends, Ben Harrell, didn't make it, but he's the one who kind of turned me on to the whole scene, and I showed up. And the funny thing about it is, I love basketball, but I'm a terrible player. So I get down there, and it was some of the best ball I've ever seen. These guys were just popping jumpers from deep, and 10 shots or 11 shots, and the game's over, and I'm intimidated like crazy, but stuck with it. And I went in there and just hustled, played as hard as I could, and got a lot of rebounds, and found my spot in the crew out there. And kind of the rest is history. Frank just kind of embraced me, even though I wasn't the best player out there. He didn't care. I just wanted to be there. I wanted to be there with everybody and have fun with it. And we would go out after the game to the bars and just socialize and have a good old time. That was my first 8 years, I guess, knowing Frank, just playing basketball and having a good time, going bowling in the alley at the house. And it got to a point where we were together so much that people at the bar would be calling me Frank and calling him Wes, and that's where the twin brother thing came up. So that was running gag all the time. Thanks for reminding that, Adrian.
Can I have his shoes back?
I
got
almost
in
wore
trouble
them.
for that.
Almost wore them tonight. Speaking of the shoes, I almost wore my Jordans that Frank gave me. It's some of the best pair of basketball shoes I ever owned, and loved playing in them. I hung them up a while ago, and I haven't put them on. I was going to wear them today, and it was a big decision, if to put on a Frankie kind of outfit with jeans, but I decided to wear something where if I showed up dressed like this to the bar, Frank would be like, "Who died?" That's how I get it. One of the stories of basketball that he loved to tell, and it was just an unbelievable evening. We're playing, and we'd go to the bar after the playing, and then after going to the bar, we'd go out and play some more at Mason Park. So we had a few drinks in us, and it was kind of sloppy, but it was fun. Well, this one night, it's pouring rain out. I mean, down deluge of rain, and we got done the bar scene. We're going, well, we're gonna go play basketball at Mason Park. Like there was any question. It's like, of course. We went out there, pouring rain, and he loved to tell this story because I don't even know if we dribbled. It was just a stupid ball. We actually put it in the hoop every once in a while, but it was deluge of rain. There's puddles in the field, running on the court. We must have played, I don't know, half hour, 45 minutes. We're drenched head to toe, everything we're wearing. The clothes that we played in earlier were all sweaty, so most of us, to end the evening, stripped down to nothing and drove home. That's how we all came back to compare notes. Like, how'd you drive home? What'd you do? And totally naked. I think even Villain left his wet clothes in the back of his trunk for a couple weeks. He had a smelly surprise for him. But yeah, he loved telling that story. It was just a bunch of men being boys, basically. We're out there running around in the rain, and it was just beautiful fun, and I'll never forget that. He ends up, after a number of years, he needed some help at Classic Cosmetics, and it just happened that I'm a maintenance specialist, building maintenance specialist, and ended up hiring me on with the company. So now I'm Wes Dixon, representing Classic Cosmetics, and kind of went into a whole nother, shifted gears in our relationship, and doing business, for getting things done, making the company run, and he's impacted my life like no other, really. I mean, this is my career now that I got through him, and very enjoyable. I can't ask for anything more, and I can't ask for a better friend. And with that, I'd just like to raise a glass and say cheers to my friend, Frank. Live on in our memories, and please keep it light like Frank did. I do my darndest every day, and try to keep my head up with this. It's hard to not cry losing such a great man, such a nice man, but it's just all positive. It's just all good things came from Frank. Yeah, Frank.
I got so many Frank stories. I started back in man, my daughter was born. I started working for Classic Cosmetics in 2005. I remember these guys when they were babies. Don't cry. Frank asked me to come ball for like a couple of years, and I wouldn't go because I didn't want to mess up the relationship of he's the owner and I'm a worker, you know what I mean? So Wes got the job. So it took Wes about a month. Come ball. So I finally go ball. And I didn't know, I'm from North Carolina. I didn't know that the game was gonna be that intense. And with Steve, we was out there trying to kill each other. We didn't like each other. Like, we'll leave work, we know we're going, but we'll get there. There's no friends, we're just trying to win the game. I'm talking about we sweat so hard. You gotta change clothes to get in the car. And he was like, come to the bar. I'm like, I don't know if I should go. I don't want to see him be acting out like that. So we go to the bar, and he treats my friends like he hadn't knew them. And so me and my friends, when we get in the car, we having this fuss. He's like, dude, why don't you go ball with this guy all the time? I'm like, man, I didn't know he was that cool. And from that moment on, I ball with y'all too. Y'all grew up and graduated from college. It was just like on and on and on. And the talks I would have when my father passed away, he helped me through that. He helped me go to court. Him and Miss Ida wrote for me to get my daughter. Iz called me to let me know that he passed away, and just whatever was going on in my day, just crushed me. He was a good-hearted man. And it's gonna be sad he's gone, but The way Frank was, he don't want nobody crying. Remember he had the little flip phone with the hot step on it? That was Frank like, man. He was like, man, he probably looking up, y'all better not start crying, put the hot step on and start partying. And that's how he was to everybody in there. I don't get to speak to y'all, like all my co-workers and everything, Steve and Ida. This was a hard one. Because you just didn't see him leaving because he just brought so much life to the party. You man, he would just take a situation where you just feel like it's over. I remember one day I went to his office, I'm like, Frank, man, my baby mama tripping. I think I need to stop drinking. He looked at me and said, what you gonna do that for? It's like, man, he's like, man, go on, man, this is what it is. It's life, live it up. And you know what, from now on, like even getting up to dress, you know what I mean, I was gonna put some dress clothes on. I was like, man, do it like Frank. Dress comfortable, put your hat on backwards, man, let it hang out, man, live your life. And to all y'all, I love y'all, man, and we all have to like be like Frank, you know what I mean? Live life and appreciate it. And you know, don't let it come to that day when it's your day, you know, live it up to the fullest. You know what I mean? I don't have my glass with me, but cheers, you know, what is the Frankie Teenies, and you know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
Drinking Frank's Corner.
Uh-huh.
I'm gonna miss them days. And God bless y'all. We love you guys, man. The same as he talked about y'all, I talked about my daughter. Y'all take it on and y'all run with it. You know what I mean? Steve, hold your head. Hold your head. Y'all make sure y'all tell Miss Ida I said what's up to her. Everybody in here, I love you guys. Sugar Shane, that's Ginobili right there. That's it, man. He out. Thank
you. I've known Frank. God, initially met him out of high school, so in 1979, and kind of I've got a good story for his sons. He is Evel Knievel. He really was. When we were in high school, we used to hang out at local grocery store parking lot on Friday nights after the football games, and all kinds of stuff would go on there. And we were hanging out there one night, and he went and got his dirt bike. He had a Can-Am 250, which back in the day, that was it, right? And he wanted everybody to see his bike. He came into the parking lot, screamed through it, wiped out big time in front of everybody. And then everybody thought, oh my gosh, he's dead or something. He gets up and just takes off and goes home. And then came back later and like it was no big deal. But he would do anything like that. He was a very generous person. Was my best friend, was in my wedding. I was in his wedding for several years. Unfortunately, I moved away and kind of lost touch with him for the last several years. But he was always there for you as a friend and was not afraid to do just about anything, especially with the motorcycle. So, other thing, he always had 3 cars. He had 3 Fiat Spiders, and these things were junk, and they used to be in the backyard, and he could only keep one running at a time, so he was constantly picking stuff off these cars to keep one of them going. And we'd go out and run around in one of his Spiders until it broke, and then had to fix another one and go out and do stuff with it. But it didn't bother him that he had to do that, and he always seemed to have a car like that for a long time. That was fun while it lasted, right? But he knew how to have a good time and knew how to have everybody around him have a good time. And he's a special guy. And unfortunately, that's all I got for him. I miss him a lot too, even though I haven't been in touch. But thank you.
Thank you.
Jacoby, I'm the family driver chauffeur, so I have a lot of stories.
Some stories you keep to yourself.
What?
Some stories you keep
I
to yourself.
trust me, I'm a guy, I forget everything. No, I know nothing. I know. If you want to see me afterwards, it will cost you some money, but I'll tell you some stories. But the first time I ever drove Frankie was 2000, so I've been driving for over 20 years. And I picked him up, he was down here at the condos below us. And I was just learning how to drive a stretch limousine, so it was a 10-passenger super stretch. Pick him up in the condo, and he's down at the end of the apartment, so it was a cul-de-sac. He says, you know, you gotta turn that thing around. So he's standing there with his arms folded, and I turn the stretch around, I do like a 20-point turn down here at the condos, trying to turn this thing around, sweating bullets. And when I get all done, I back it up, and he gets out, and he hands me a $100 bill. I said, this is gonna be a long night. So, but from then on, it's like I've been driving these guys when they were like in car seats in my limousines, and I never knew if I was going to make it home or going to go to jail or bail them out of jail. Or you never knew this is our family, right, Stephen? But I do remember that the one time going to the Supercross, and these guys were in the back of the limousine, and they were like little boys, and I used to always put candy and M&Ms in the back of the stretch, and you know, I'd drop them off at Anaheim Stadium, I'd get in the car, and it'd take me 3 hours to clean the limousine out from all the M&M stuff in the carpet. I think some are still there. Yeah. But all I know is that every moment driving the family, and there's many people in this room who I've met who have had the pleasure of driving, you know, and get to know, and they made me family. But I think one of the best times, Adriana, you remember this, when I was driving to Supercross again, and it was super bumper to bumper in the 5, and I looked down. Adriana says I was texting, but I know I wasn't.
Yes,
That would be illegal,
yes,
you know. And also, my rear ended this car in front of me trying to stop my stretch, and lucky I just punctured the bumper with the guy's trailer hitch. And they were hiring our guy. They got out of the car, and there was smoke coming out like Snoop Dogg's car, and they were going to the Supercross, so we gave each other a man hug on the freeway and went our way. But I've never seen Frankie so quiet, you know. And we get to the Supercross stadium, and Adriana and Frank get out of the limousine. And I don't know why, to this day, I'm still not sure why, I'm sure she could tell us, but they took a loaf of sourdough bread that was like this long and shoved it in the front of my bumper, so now it's sticking out of my limousine, driving around with a loaf of bread in the front bumper. You know. I don't know either. It must have been the alcohol. Oh wait, there's no alcohol in the car. So, well, all I know is that, you know, they brought me in the family, made me part of the family, and I'll miss Frank. So. But, you know, thank you and condolences to the family.
Thank you very much, Lee. You're just like your father. I just want to thank everybody that came out. Frank was the world to me. It was 16 years. Boys, I never told you this. I love you, all three of you. We had our ups and downs. Dee, you always listened to me. Thank you for letting me be part of your kid's life. Robbie, you're my princess forever, no matter what. Little Asher, wherever in the world you're at. You're my little monster. I'll never forget the day you were running up my stairs butt naked, singing the song. Robbie, I love you to the world and back, and Pop. And I will tell a little story. I thought I would never share this with anybody. Boys, you don't even know. Right before the pandemic, Frank, you know your dad, he would feed the big dogs and I would feed the little dogs and the cats. Mind you, I have 5 animals at home with 3 cats, 5 dogs. It's a lot of work. And I was feeding the little dogs and he said, I'll be right back, I'm gonna go feed the big dogs. And he's carrying these 2 trays, mind you. It's a 3-story home, 17 steps going down to the basement. The basement ending in cement, okay? He shut the door behind him because the dogs would go underneath, or the cats, and they would hide. He took 2 steps, and all I hear is, I said, oh fuck. Drops the dog's food down, go downstairs, and there's Frankie full of dog food. Face and all. Hunched over, looked like a goddamn scorpion. Mind you, I'm only 5 foot tall. He's 6'1". Weighs 250 pounds. There's no way to pick him up. I'm collecting dog food with my bare hands. I said, fuck, I still have to feed these damn dogs. So I asked him, sit here, don't move. Like, if you're hurt, I gotta make sure you're okay. First thing I do, I call my brother Beto. Said, fuck, he fucking fell downstairs, 17 steps. He said, don't let him go to sleep. I said, I know. So I set him down, I don't know how. And I set him on the step. And I said, don't fucking move, I'll be right back. Picked up all the dog food, took the dogs their food, came back in. He's fucking missing. He's nowhere to be found. I said, there's no way. He's upstairs. So I go upstairs. In the living room, he's not there. I said, there's no way he went up all the way to the bedroom. He goes to bed. He's in his boxers. Laying in bed, covered up. Still with dog food on his head. So I said, get up, you need to take a shower. Finally, I got him up to take a shower. Mind you, yes, he was drinking, okay? This wasn't sober. Wakes up at 3:45 in the morning, turns on the light. Wakes me up. And he says, babe, he sits on the bed. Did I work out last night? I said, you must be fucking kidding me. Mind you, we had a very open and honest relationship. Like I said, he became my best friend first, and the love of my life after. So I took him to a mirror. I said, come here. He didn't have his shirt on. I said, look at your back. He goes, did you hit me? I said, no, I did not hit you. You fell down 17 steps. He goes, no, I didn't. I wish I had my phone, because that's the only way he would believe me. And Corey, I'm sure you saw that little scratch on his forehead because he wore his hat to a certain Danny, just like you. He had it to his fucking eyebrows because he was trying to hide it. He let his beard grow a little bit because he had that scratch. Rug burn or concrete burn, I don't even know what it was. And that was one of my funniest moments because I said, there's no way I can go to sleep. What if he doesn't wake up? And it's unfortunate that I found him like that, not awake. All I know is I tried my best, guys. I miss your father. I will always miss your father. And I loved him to death. There's no other words for it. And Robbie, you can always come stay with me wherever I go. You know that. I'm crazy, Asher. I still love you. Well, I want to say thank you for everybody that came today. It goes to show how much Frank touched everyone's heart. And as much as he called me bruja, torta, que la chingada always, you know, he always asks, why do I bless myself when I get on the freeway? I don't know, it's a thing, I don't know if it's a Mexican thing, I don't know. But he always did this. So I said, okay. But I will always cherish every moment I had with him. Because 95% was great. And there's nothing bad to say about him. He raised me well, took care of me and my daughter. He accepted me with her. And I appreciate Austin. You were there for Alexis many times. And I thank you very much. Dee, you're just like your fucking dad, man. Keep being like your father. Corey, got a good head on your shoulder. Your dad taught you right. And I appreciate everything you guys have done for me, Amanda, Madison. You guys are amazing. Thank you. And Tina, we we shared that moment. We have great taste in men. Gracias a todos por venir a la fábrica. Los empleados los queríamos mucho. Frank siempre hablaba bien de ustedes. Ya saben, las donas todavía van a venir. Yo se los juro. Si es por mí, yo se las llevo. Gracias.
That was, I have no words. Thank you guys so much for coming up here and sharing your stories and reminding us how amazing our dad was and the man that we didn't know and the man we knew, and just thank you, everybody. In honor, if you guys just want to keep, if you didn't want to come up here and say anything, if you can share some stories between yourself, I'm sure everybody has some stories here. We're going to keep the slideshow going and look at the pictures of my dad throughout the years and just have great memories. And thank you all for coming. We really appreciate it. Thank you, everyone.